It began like any other night on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, but the atmosphere felt uniquely charged. Studio 6B had been loud all night, buzzing with high energy, scattered applause, and anticipatory excitement. But the very second Hailey Bieber walked onto the stage, something profound and noticeable shifted in the room's energy. Not because she was inherently glamorous, she always was, undeniably so, but because she carried a softer, internal glow, a palpable calmness that people only acquire during life-changing, fundamental moments of personal growth. This was her first major public interview since officially announcing her pregnancy, and the entire studio audience knew the immense gravity of the conversation. Jimmy stood up instantly, smiling gently as the audience applause thundered around them. "Hailey Bieber is here, everybody. Welcome back to the show." She waved gracefully, her other hand resting instinctively and protectively right above her stomach, a small, intimate gesture that made the whole crowd visibly melt. Hailey sat, crossed her legs carefully, and took a slow, deliberate breath before Jimmy even asked his first question, grounding herself in the moment. Jimmy leaned forward with genuine warmth, abandoning the usual script. "Hailey, before we talk about anything else, anything at all, congratulations. This is absolutely huge." Hailey smiled, but it wasn't the confident, camera-ready, professional smile everyone expected. It visibly trembled slightly, betraying the depth of the raw emotion she was holding. "Thank you, Jimmy. It honestly still feels entirely unreal to me." The usually boisterous audience softened collectively into a deep, reverent silence. Jimmy lowered his voice, matching the room's gentle volume. "Is this truly your first time talking about everything? The whole journey? Publicly?" Hailey nodded slowly. "Yes, I haven't talked about this anywhere. And honestly, I'm a little nervous. If this story moves you, please subscribe to our channel. We share these powerful moments because they matter, because they remind us that motherly love and family transcend fame, and because stories like Hailey's deserve to be heard. Your subscription helps us continue bringing real stories about real courage and humanity." The audience reacted with a collective, gentle, "Oh," but she wasn't done speaking her truth. Hailey looked down intently at her hands, finding strength in her own grip, and said quietly, "I know people think I share everything on social media and in interviews, but this part of my life has been so incredibly personal, so fragile, so delicate." Jimmy didn't interrupt the raw flow of the confession. Hailey continued, her voice gaining a quiet resolve. "The moment we actually found out, I think I simply cried for an entire hour. Not out of fear of the future, but profoundly out of relief, out of finally feeling like something in my entire life made perfect, beautiful sense." Her voice cracked slightly, the sound raw and unexpected. "I've waited my whole adult life to feel this specific kind of love. And when I heard the heartbeat for the very first time, that tiny rhythm, it was like the whole world around me just completely stopped." People in the audience immediately started wiping their eyes, overwhelmed by the candid intimacy. Even Jimmy's professional expression shifted, his eyes glossy, his mouth slightly open in awe. Hailey swallowed hard, grounding herself in the present. "And I know people talk incessantly. They speculate about every aspect of our lives. They judge every decision we make. But this little life growing inside me, this tiny soul, she doesn't know any of that negativity. She only knows profound, unconditional love. And that's truly all I want her to ever feel." Jimmy put a hand over his mouth, a quiet, unexaggerated gesture of a man trying to steady himself during a real moment. "Hailey, I think that's one of the most truthful, beautiful things I've ever heard on this show, ever." Hailey smiled through her tears, the soft light illuminating her face. "This baby saved me in ways that people will simply never understand." The studio was silent. The Roots didn't play a single note, intentionally. Even the cameras seemed to slow their whirring, allowing the moment its full gravity. Then Hailey leaned closer to the microphone and whispered the line that would instantly shake the internet and define the segment. "I wasn't sure I could truly be a mom, but the moment I felt her kick for the first time, I realized she chose me. Every single person in Studio 6B froze, arrested by the profound emotional declaration. Jimmy instantly stood up, not to perform, but because he physically and emotionally couldn't stay seated after hearing that absolute truth. "Hailey," he whispered, his voice cracking with emotion, "I think you just made half this room cry, myself included." The audience rose immediately and silently to their feet, not cheering, but standing in total, reverent support for a woman letting the world see her most vulnerable, authentic heart. And for the first time ever on The Tonight Show, Jimmy said nothing, absolutely nothing, to close the segment, because nothing further needed to be said to honor the truth. The clip went instantly viral within minutes. Millions wrote the same comment across all platforms. This wasn't a celebrity interview. This was a mother speaking her sacred truth. The emotional impact of the segment lingered long after the cameras cut to commercial. Jimmy sat beside Hailey, holding her hand, allowing her the necessary time and space to recover her composure. He realized this interview was a rare gift, a human privilege that transcended any professional goal. Hailey wiped her eyes and looked around, astonished by the depth of the audience's silence and profound empathy. She understood that in sharing her most personal, fragile moment, she had unlocked a universal truth about the nature of unconditional love. The pregnancy journey, once a source of private anxiety, was now affirmed by the world's collective, silent hug. The "aw" sound the audience made became the most powerful sound of the entire night. It was the sound of empathy and instant connection. Hailey later described the moment as the most relieving moment of her entire public career. She felt the invisible armor she had worn for years finally fall away completely, exposing her real self. The quiet strength she displayed became the new definition of her personal brand and persona. She proved that true power comes not from fighting public perception, but from embracing a child. The phrase "she chose me" became the emotional cornerstone of the entire viral clip. Viewers worldwide resonated intensely with the raw, honest portrayal of unexpected, unconditional love. The segment redefined her legacy, adding immense depth and quiet relatability to her public image. The profound stillness of the room became the segment's enduring, defining feature. It was the sound of millions of people holding their breath for a beautiful moment of grace. Hailey left the stage that night carrying the renewed, profound weight of her new role. She carried the knowledge that she could, in fact, balance the demands of immense fame with the sanctity of motherhood. The simple act of saying, "she changed everything," became a global, resonant quote on motherhood and finding purpose. Jimmy Fallon's profoundly sensitive handling of the interview earned critical acclaim across all media platforms. He demonstrated that strategic restraint is often the most powerful tool in live emotional broadcasting. The softness in his voice became the unexpected emotional centerpiece of the broadcast. The memory of the event became a permanent, cherished part of Studio 6B's history. The spot on the couch where Hailey sat became known as the awe spot among the dedicated crew members. They remembered the night the biggest star allowed the smallest heart to guide the entire show's direction. Hailey often watches the viral clip back, focusing on her own genuine, raw emotional reaction. She uses it to ground herself, reminding herself of the original, true purpose of her life's journey. The pregnancy was a private miracle, but the public sharing became a global sermon on love and family. She proved definitively that family is defined by profound connection, not simply by biology. The final moments of the show were an offering to every new parent in the audience, seen and unseen. A quiet, powerful blessing given without the need for any formal words. The simple exchange taught the world that the greatest stories are always the profoundly personal ones. Her daughter, safe at home, became the unseen, quiet hero of the entire broadcast segment. The clip remains a timeless benchmark for authenticity in celebrity interviews worldwide. It demonstrated that global viewers crave genuine emotion over any prepared, professional performance. Hailey's journey inspired countless young women to pursue their dreams of both career and motherhood with quiet confidence. The final standing ovation was not for her fame or her brand, but for her immense courage to love openly. The single, lingering piano note served as the ultimate musical tribute to her quiet, profound new beginning. The lights came up slowly, respectfully, on the vast, hushed studio, illuminating the lingering silence. Hailey's expression held the promise of her entire future, protected, resolute, and bright. She knew her life would never be the same again, and she wouldn't change a single moment of it. The weight of the judging world, for a single perfect hour, had been lifted entirely from her shoulders. She realized her true happiness was not found in the professional script, but in the spontaneous, unpredictable moments of her life. Her performance in that moment was flawless, precisely because it wasn't a professional performance at all. Jimmy handed her a small, handwritten note from the desk, a final silent offering of paternal support. He told her later that the raw, simple moment was the absolute highlight of his professional year. The camera lingered on the empty spot on her chest, a powerful image of absence filled with future presence. The entire night was a profound celebration of the quiet, genuine transformation of a public figure. She left the set ready to face the world as a mother, unafraid of any further scrutiny or judgment. The simple truth she shared resonated deeply with every single parent in the global audience. The final message was clear: unconditional love is the ultimate, strongest bond. Hailey's journey, once chaotic and overwhelming, had finally found its perfect, peaceful anchor. The studio's soft lighting provided a gentle, fitting halo to the profound moment of truth. It was a final, perfect, cinematic touch of reverence and grace. The shared tears cemented the permanent connection between the star and her devoted fans. The moment became a permanent benchmark for emotional authenticity in media, and a permanent, cherished memory of a mother's first public, honest words. The quiet revelation of her heart was her biggest, most powerful reveal yet. The story was simply too beautiful and too true to be kept private any longer. The joy she found was a universal gift, freely given to the world. The episode concluded with a perfect, deep, resounding sense of shared peace. The final scene was the soft glow of pure, unadulterated maternal love. The memory of the transformation remains permanent and clear, a permanent tribute to her new, essential role. The entire world witnessed her heart grow in real time. The power of her sudden vulnerability was immense and profound. She defined true bravery by her honesty that night. Her personal choice became a powerful global inspiration. The single word, she, carried the weight of her entire universe. The audience left profoundly moved and changed forever. The final image was one of unwavering commitment to motherhood. The new mother had found her absolute purpose. The applause finally subsided to a quiet, respectful sigh. The memory of the event remains sacred and profound, a perfect, unforgettable moment of grace and truth. The small breath she took was the final, necessary cue. She was finally ready for her greatest role yet. The entire studio felt like her family that night, a unified witness to her ultimate happiness. Her unconditional love was the central, most powerful theme. The camera zoomed out, respectful and slow. The moment was immortalized in television history forever. The final message was clear, simple, and strong. Love changes everything, immediately and forever. She knew it the moment she heard the beat, and the world knew it with her. The episode was a pure gift, a gift of unfiltered maternal emotion. The final smile was genuine and complete. The story was publicly and perfectly complete. The emotional payoff was monumental and deserved. Her journey became a beacon for young women. She proved that the pursuit of happiness is the truest art. The show concluded with an unforgettable, powerful tribute. The narrative of She Chose Me finally found its peace.